Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dustin Cronin, and I am the president and founder of Creating Connections Piece by Piece. And I am here live, and I do apologize for these previous two times I was live. And I had an emergency on Sunday when I was doing my interview with one of my former managers, and then I was having trouble with my internet thing just these few times where I had to get offline. And I am an individual living with autism who aims to help other folks communicate better with other individuals on the autism spectrum. And I am the president and founder of Creating Connections Piece by Piece. And this is part 6 of Disclosing Your Disability to Your Employer. And I have shared my experience on working the MUT makeup, whatever you want to call it, makeup table, board. If you work at Whataburger, I've also shared my experience on the grill, the drive-through, the front end register. And in this video today, I want to share my experience on being in training as a manager. So, being a manager is not as easy as you think it is. It looks easy from the outside, but once you either get in training for it or you get in it, it's really not as easy because there's some inside stuff that you don't see. So, when I was training to be a manager at Whataburger, it was very overwhelming. I never actually got the promotion, but I was actually in training for it. So, when I was in training for it, you have to watch for labor, which you can only have so many employees on the clock. And if they're not busy enough, and you got too many people on the clock, labor gets really high. And the reason that is because there's not enough work to keep everybody busy during slow times, and you have to send some people home to drop labor because the people at the corporate office, that's too many employees that they have to pay when you got too many people on the clock and everybody stand around and you can't keep everybody busy. And another responsibility of being in management is you have to be able to keep up with inventory. You have to be able to count all the inventory, all the products. You cannot miss anything, because if you miss anything and then new products, the general manager, that's products that could go to waste too. And the meats and the products and foods are only good for a certain amount of period of time. And you have to make sure the speed of service is good. All the orders are being under 5 minutes. And you also have to make sure that you also have to manage the store's finances, because if you're not managing the store's finances really good and they're spending too much money on products, then you won't be managing that store much longer either. And you have to make sure you're following health code violations. For example, you can't have any chemicals in the walk-in freezer or the walk-in refrigerator. And because when you're having chemicals in there, and like say if another employee leaves them in there, the general manager or anybody, if upper management, the area manager or the big managers come through, then they're going to question you and they're going to be looking at you. Or if the health department comes in there, they'll give the store a bad grade. And excuse my stutteringness and my and everything on this live video. This is my first time doing a live video, and so if I don't sound as good as any of the other videos, please excuse me. But anyways, back to my management training. You also have to be a motivator. You have to be good at full. You have to make sure all the everybody's staying busy. You can't let any stand around. And also, if they call you in on your days off or they call you to come in early, you got to be there. You can't argue with them or anything. And if a drawer comes up short, any of the cashier's drawer, whether it's drive-through, front end, if their drawer comes up short, then it falls back on you too, if you're in management. And if there's anything wrong with the carbonation water or any drinks that need to be filled, you have to check on that. You have to make sure that customer satisfaction is at 100%. You can't have any customer complaints, because the first complaint is just as bad as the 10th complaint. And when I was in training for being a manager at Whataburger, I was so overwhelmed. And one time when I was in training for it, there was this one grill cook. He was making 3 meats to stay ahead, and the timer went off under 5 minutes, and it wasn't no good. So he had to put it in the waste. And my general manager said, he was very hard on me. He yelled at me, and he said, "Dude, that is 5 meats that went to waste, or 3 meats." I said, "That just went to waste, because that's wasting product. We cannot be ordering a lot of product." And he was very hard on me when I was in training to be a manager, catering and all that. And I couldn't handle the pressure. So one of my other managers had me take a break because I was so stressed out, and I had to go take a walk. And so once I was getting ready to come back, my general manager, we sat down and talked, and he said, "I'm going to be very hard on you." He said, "You're going to have to live up to my expectations." He said, "I'm putting my life on the line for you." And he also said, "If you're not going to live up to my expectations, then you must not take the position." And so I tried to resume, and I tried to take the pressure. And one day when I was counting inventory on my training, I missed a couple of meat boxes that I didn't see. And my general manager, when he looked at my inventory and he saw where that I didn't count the meat, there was 2 boxes that weren't counted, and he threw a hissy fit about it. And so that's when I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I decided I was going to back out. I decided that management was not for me. And when you're in management, you have to take full responsibility. And if you see any chemicals on the mutt, like the makeup table or the board or the grill, and you have to take full responsibility, even if another employee or if a customer complains. You cannot make excuses. And I know a lot of times if it's another employee, it's usually easy to say, "Well, it wasn't my fault. He made it wrong," or anything like that. And being in management, it just overwhelmed me when I was in training before I even got the promotion. So I decided not to take it, because I couldn't handle it, because it was really hard. It's too big of a responsibility. And you also have to make sure that old products are not being served. And like I said, you cannot have any customer complaints. So, and I'm not suggesting that anybody should be required or it be a law for anybody to have to disclose their disability to their employer, but I would say it's best if you do, because and because you can't get the accommodations that you need, and you want to have those accommodations. And I've kind of learned ever since then, ever since my experience of being in management and training, and ever since my divorce, I've learned that I need to be honest with my employers. So the drive-through was very overwhelming. Working on the mutton grill was very overwhelming. The register was very overwhelming. The fry station was not near as overwhelming. So I could have either stayed on the fry station, or I could have just been a maintenance guy. And I hope everybody enjoyed watching this video. And I'm sorry if I was a little nervous. This was my first time going live, like I said. So I hope everybody is having a great, wonderful day, and y'all enjoy your day. And thank you all for watching this video.